Hey everybody, it's Jenny, and I am going to share with you how I set up and then a little flip through of my pocket size traveler's notebook. There is the one that I previously had set up, and if you watched my other video, you saw how I made all the choices and all the little bits and pieces come together for this one. And this is my number 2, which is a pocket size Foxy Fix in the sugar leather and the coconut color. I love it. It's my favorite by far. It's just so soft and supple and smooth, and the white is absolutely perfect. I have gray stitching and gray elastics, and I just simply adore this notebook. I'm actually going to be moving out of it, and I'm a little bit sad about it, to be perfectly honest with you. So that's a little look at the notebook. I wanted to hug it. I'm going to bring out my sugar icing. Sugar is the leather, icing is the color. It is a wide also. It's 4 strands. It was bought before they moved to 6. And I am using all inserts from the 1407 planners. They are my favorite. The pages are bright white. The paper is super smooth and thick, and it just works really, really well for me. I have 5 different inserts going in here, and that's the perfect way for me. I keep a social media planner. I keep a planning for my memory planner in there. I keep a wish list. I keep a blank insert for journaling and creative list making, and then I also keep a reading log in here as well. Those are all things that I consider to be more creative pursuits, and that is why they stay in this particular notebook. I mean, I guess the social media planner isn't really, but I like to doll it up in kind of a different way, and this is a great size for me. As you can see, I just measured my inserts. Again, I do this each and every time, despite the fact that the sizes don't change, but I want to make sure that when I'm working with some of these papers that maybe I only have one of, that I don't cut them wrong, because I have totally done that in the past. Now I am working with some Felicity Jane papers. I will link you up to them down below. I love these. These is meant to have kind of a fallish feel, but not be overly like red and orange and yellow and gold. Just kind of have that more sort of whimsical, maybe whimsical is not even the right word, but sort of that freestyle fall feel, if you will. Now I am cutting up patterned papers to go with each insert. So I'll have 5 little patterned papers that I trim to the size to cover each insert. And I love doing that, and it's one of the reasons I like the 1407 inserts, is because the covers are white, and so I can just slip a piece of patterned paper around the outside, and I just love how that looks, and it all coordinates so nicely. So I'm just going to trim 4 different patterned papers. One of them I'm going to use twice because I absolutely love the floral, and I just definitely wanted to use it more than once inside of this notebook. Now, the great thing about these papers is that they're double-sided, obviously, so I can see both sides when I am flipping through the traveler's notebook, and I am able to highlight different patterns on the outside than I am on the inside. There's that floral. I just love it. The mix of colors is absolutely beautiful. The florals definitely have that wildflower kind of feel, and I love it with some of these other more geometric patterns. The contrast is really, really fun. Now you can see there's a wide variety of patterns and colors in here, and they all wonderfully go together thanks to that floral paper. It includes all of these different colors, and they just look super pretty together. Now I'm going to move aside the rest of the papers that I'm not using for these insert covers, and then I'm also going to take a piece of the vellum that was in this Kate collection. There's a little vellum pack, 6 by 12 pieces. There's this really pretty gold foil dot, and I thought it would look really nice here. Now I have other gold foil dot vellum, but what I liked about this one was the scale of the dots was kind of perfect for the scale of these papers. So I figured I would just go ahead and use it, and I figured that I would also be lucky enough to use it again in the future as well, maybe for my Christmas time, or maybe even when I do something in November that is a little bit more heavily fall. Being here in Southern California, September is really not fall, it's really just summer still, so I don't want to do things that are overly fallish, because that's just not true to what we're experiencing. Now I'm going back through some older acetate and vellum pieces that I used previously in other traveler's notebook setups. I do keep each of these. I put them in a box when I'm finished with them so I can go back and maybe use different bits and pieces again. I'm taking the little doily off this one, and then I'm going to just rub the adhesive off. It comes right off when I rub it with my finger, and it has the little doily and stuff on it, but it's perfect because now the adhesive is gone. It's a heavier weight and kind of a darker color, and I just like that. It's a little bit different than the other plain vellums that I had used, and I love using the plain vellum because then it doesn't compete with the patterned papers that I love too. And so I love the texture of vellum, and I love the way it sort of diffuses the patterns, but this way, having the plain one just keeps that all in check. Now you can see I already have some acetate or transparencies, depending on if you're a scrapbooker or not, chosen, but I'm going to go through my stash of them and choose some more because I do need a little bit more acetate in this particular traveler's notebook, and I didn't have any that I really loved the pattern of already. So I mean, I did. Obviously, you saw that script one, and then I also have a white wood grain. But like now, here I have this Bella Boulevard Arrows one, and it goes great with that pattern paper that I already selected. So I obviously won't have those together, so covering one insert. I will obviously split those two pieces up, but I just love how they are going to go so well. So there's the white wood grain, and I had put that originally with a standard insert, and so I'm going to need to trim it down a little bit to fit inside my pocket insert, but it's going to be perfect because it's got that sort of natural feel with the wood grain, and it'll go with that natural feel of the wildflowers. Now this is a gold dot acetate as well from Bella Boulevard. It's not gold foil or glittery, it's just like a printed gold, but it'll go really well, and I didn't want it to have that gold foil because I already have the gold foil dot vellum, and so I figured it was neat to have the corresponding type image, but I didn't want it to be overly the same. Now I'm going to go ahead and start putting in my patterned papers. This is sort of the first step, because when I'm finished with this, then I can start adding in the other little bits and pieces as well. Now I really like this Bella Boulevard gold dot with this floral pattern paper, so I'm just going to go ahead and place those two together. Now again, because I'm not sewing these in or stapling them or anything like that, it leaves me a lot of versatility. I can absolutely move things around as I see fit. Now I'm going to place that more off-white vellum that's really thick and has a really faint pattern around that blue and white striped pattern paper. And then next I'm going to use this medallion patterned paper for the inside, and the outside will be that yellow sort of scallopy type. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm putting the vellum on the inside. I often put the vellum on the outside, but this time I decided to change it up and put it on the inside instead. I just absolutely love it. Now I'm going to use the floral again because, well, I'm not going to lie, I really like it, and I just really wanted to use it again. Now I'm not putting it on the last insert because I felt like that was kind of too predictable. Like I would start the notebook and end the notebook with the floral, so I decided to put it on the fourth insert instead of doing that. But then also I decided, well, better not. Just kidding. That's a Pitch Perfect reference if you aren't familiar. I decided that I would put it in the last insert because it didn't really matter if it felt too contrived, because it's really just me looking at my traveler's notebook. I mean, am I right? So I have the arrows, and it's so cute in there, and I'm going to pair that with this plain vellum because I didn't want it to be overly busy or too complicated. So I figured that the plain vellum was kind of the perfect match for the arrow patterned paper based on what I had left. Now here's that wood grain acetate. I'm always a huge fan of wood grain type items, and I love the just the natural feel, and I love having it paired with that wildflower as well. I just think it goes so well. And then now I'm able to add this text acetate to that striped cover with that thicker vellum over on top of it, because it just goes really well, because the other two pieces are very, very, very basic. There's not really any competition there. And see, then now adding that arrowed acetate, I love it. It's so pretty. And again, it's the exact same thing as what I just said. It didn't compete too much. It wasn't too crazy or too busy or anything like that. And that gold foil on that piece of vellum, it's just absolutely delightful. It's so, so pretty. Okay, so now we have the basic setup. I have all of the acetate, all of the vellum, and all of the pattern paper already included. And these are mostly items from Felicity Jane, but then a few different things that are from my stash as well. And so you have some different textures, not really textures, I mean textures in terms of the vellum and the acetate and the paper, but then the different patterns on those also lend itself to just a different feel throughout the entire thing, and I absolutely love it. Now I'm going through the pocket cards because I know I want to include a couple as not only decor, but then also to put some pictures on that I can include inside the traveler's notebook as well. Now I'm absolutely adoring this one. It's so simple and the script is just so pretty. And so I figured I would just clip it right onto the front. It's the perfect reminder of all of the beautiful little bits and pieces. And speaking of beautiful bits and pieces, I am dumping out the die cuts as well and going through those. And one of the things that I'm loving about these Felicity Jane ones is that they're nice and thick. There's no flimsiness here. They are totally hefty and going to stand up, and I feel like they're going to be pretty durable inside my traveler's notebook, which we all know when you're taking inserts in and out and stuff like that, you need little durable bits and pieces. Now I'm putting together a couple of the little florals just to be able to layer on top of that card, and you will see that again when I flip through and show that to you. Now I want to just continue on that theme and add a doily. This is a craft doily I've had in my stash for forever, and I'm just going to trim that off, and so now I'm left with a tiny little piece. So I'll use a little bit of my Tombow adhesive and adhere that down to the vellum. First I need to put a refill in my adhesive tape runner though, because, well, I was out. I love this tape. It's super sticky, it's super easy to use, and those refills are like $2 a piece. They're super inexpensive. So I'm really a big fan, and the ease cannot be beat. Now I love that right there, and I was considering adding in that little tag and the wreath that I had chosen because I know I'm going to use it. But I decided not to. I'm going to go with this little tab at the top, so I'll use the adhesive to keep that stuck to the page, so you can see that right there. I love it. And then this little deer paper clip, it's so adorable. I absolutely love it. All of the things that I'm able to find, I will link up for you in the description below. A few of these items are older, they're from my stash, and so I won't be able to link those up, but I will do my very best to do that. Now I just love adding all of these little bits and pieces, and for me, adding clips to them is the best way to be able to preserve them, so if I can use them differently next time and still have them remain in these really cute places in my traveler's notebook. So now here's one of those cards that I wanted to use for photos, for adding a little picture of my family or whatever. So that's what I'm doing on there, and I didn't even adhere it. I just stuck them together because they're so cute right there, and I really just wanted the photo to be a keepsake, so I didn't feel like I needed to adhere it all together and stuff like that. Now I have this super adorable little teeny tiny itty bitty paper clip that I got from Felicity Jane, and so I wanted to be able to use those in this traveler's notebook because look how tiny that is. It's so pretty and cute, and so I'm going to use that to adhere or to stick those two cards together. Don't you just love them? I think they're adorable, and it's just going to be such a perfect motivator. I love having all these positive, encouraging words in my notebook. It just really makes the whole thing feel so much more pleasant. And as I've talked to you before, if I'm able to have things that really inspire me, then I am 100 times more likely to use them. Now I'm just putting in some bookmarks that I made. It's just basic leather cord and then some beads. And those help me keep my page. Now I also do use paper clips, that's also true. But I like having both because they're easy for me to get to. And I think that they're both really pretty. I'm not going to lie. And then I'm far more able to stay on track and stay organized because I am referring back to the items in my notebook because I love looking at the little cute bits and pieces. Now I'm just adding this super adorable little tassel. This was from the dollar spot at Target, so you cannot overlook those items because they have a lot of value in terms of different little places that you can use them in planners and traveler's notebooks. Now this is a super adorable photo of myself and my kids that I just love, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to use it. So I'm attaching it to the little pocket card. I'm adding a little tab at the top, and then I'm also just going to build upon it with a little bit of the little floral die cuts and all of that stuff. Just look at how simple that is, yet the layering is just so stinking pretty. Now I'm so excited with how this turned out. I just feel like it really stayed true to who I am, but yet it is super functional and all of the items are really, really beautiful, and I'm going to be able to get a lot of use out of this until I redecorate for Halloween. So you can see each of the bits and the pieces and how I brought all of those together and all of the different textures and patterns and all of that. They're just all right here combined. So like I said before, I will link you up in the comments below or in the description below, and you will be able to pick up any of these items that you want. So thank you so much for stopping by and watching my video. If you have questions, leave it below and I will do my very best to get back to you, okay? Thanks so much and make it a great day.